All right, buckle up because today we're diving into a story that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat.
Oh, I love a good mystery. What do we got this time?
We're talking The Crimson Key, and let me tell you, this is not your average inheritance story.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes it so different?
Well, picture this, a creepy old mansion, a storm raging outside, and a family full of secrets.
Ooh, that's a recipe for disaster. I'm already hooked.
Right, and the source material we're working with drops us right into the heart of this unsettling scene. Excerpts from a text called The Crimson Key.
The Crimson Key, huh? Sounds ominous. I bet the atmosphere is thick with suspense.
You can practically feel the tension in the air. It's like the house itself is part of the mystery.
And what about the characters? Are they as intriguing as the setting?
Oh, absolutely. We've got Victoria, the artist who was estranged from her father and is carrying a lot of bitterness.
A strange daughter, check. Always a good starting point for family drama.
Then there's Charles, the son who's drowning in debt and desperate for a financial lifeline.
Ugh. Ah, the black sheep of the family. Always looking for an easy way out.
And let's not forget Helena, the ex-wife. She's got an air of ambition and maybe a little lingering resentment.
The ex-wife. Could be trouble.
And then we have Mrs. Hughes, the housekeeper. She's like a fly on the wall, observing everything. Quiet, but intense.
Don't forget those unexpected guests too, right?
You're right. Even those unexpected guests who show up add another layer of mystery to the whole thing.
So we got a cast of characters with their own baggage and motivations, all gathered together in this spooky mansion. What brings them all together?
Well, they're all here for the reading of Arthur Thornwood's will. Arthur was the millionaire owner of this mansion, a collector of rare artifacts, and he died under mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious circumstances. Okay, the plot thickens.
It gets even weirder. See, this isn't your typical will. Arthur has devised a twisted game, a quest to find his hidden fortune, but there's a catch. Only those he deems worthy will inherit it.
Worthy? That's a loaded word. What does that even mean in this context?
That's the big question, isn't it? Arthur's will is like a puzzle, a reflection of his desire for control even in death.
Makes you wonder, was he genuinely trying to test his family, or was it just a way to manipulate them?
Maybe a bit of both. And to make things even more interesting, the only clue to this hidden fortune is a single crimson key.
A crimson key. That sounds straight out of a Gothic novel.
It's like something out of a Poe story, right? And the key becomes the central symbol of this whole mystery. It's not just about opening a vault, it's about unlocking the truth behind Arthur's death and the secrets this family is hiding.
So they have this creepy key, and they're all trapped in this mansion during a storm. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, plenty. Almost immediately, old grudges resurface, accusations start flying, and then boom, Charles turns up dead.
Oh no, murder.
Yep, and to make it even creepier, there's a note clutched in his hand. The key knows, it says. Chilling, right?
The key knows. Wow, that's a direct challenge, like a taunt from the killer, or maybe a clue that the key itself is somehow involved.
It's a brilliant way to weave the key into the fabric of the mystery, don't you think? It's not just an object anymore. It's like a character in the story, a silent witness to what happened.
I like that. A silent witness. So what do the remaining guests do? Are they spooked enough to give up the search?
You'd think so, right? But with a killer on the loose, a storm raging outside, and this mysterious crimson key dangling in front of them, they're faced with a choice. Do they run or do they press on?
Sounds like a classic curiosity killed the cat situation.
It really is. And driven by fear, greed, maybe a little bit of morbid curiosity, they decide to press on.
So where do they start? How do they even begin to solve this riddle?
Well, the first clue comes from the key itself. It's engraved with a riddle. Greed consumes, truth redeems. Seek the red door where secrets dream.
Okay, that's pretty cryptic. Seek the red door where secrets dream. What do you make of that?
It's not just giving them a location. It's also hinting at the moral implications of their actions, don't you think? Greed versus truth, consumption versus redemption. It's like Arthur setting up a test of character.
I see what you mean. It's not just about finding the treasure. It's about the journey and the choices you make along the way. So, do they find this red door?
They do. Following the riddle's clues, they find a hidden room behind a painting of a red door. What are the chances,
You
right?
can't make this stuff up. And what's inside this secret room? The treasure?
Not quite. What they find is Arthur's secret journal, and this is where things get really interesting.
A journal. Oh, I bet that's full of juicy secrets.
It's like opening Pandora's box. The journal reveals a much darker side of Arthur, exposing his knowledge of a shady business deal connected to the family, implicating some of the people right there in the room.
Whoa. So Arthur knew about some dirty dealings.
Mhm.
Do you think he was planning to use this information against his family?
It's possible. It definitely paints him in a new light. He's not just the eccentric collector anymore. He's a man capable of manipulation, even from beyond the grave. And it makes you wonder if maybe someone silenced him to protect themselves.
Okay, now we're talking. So this journal is a game changer. What else does it say?
Well, that's the problem. Just when they think they're starting to understand Arthur's game, they realize a page is missing from the journal. A page that hinted at something even bigger than this business deal.
A missing page. That's classic. There's always a missing page. What do you think was on it?
We'll have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, whatever was on that page is important enough to kill for.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
And as if things weren't tense enough, another death rocks the mansion. This time it's Helena, found murdered clutching that missing page.
Helena's dead, and she had the missing page. This is getting crazy.
I know. And the missing page reveals something truly shocking.
Wait, what does it say? Don't leave me hanging.
Hold on, we'll have to unpack that bombshell after a quick break.
Okay, so we're back, and things at Thornwood Estate are just getting more and more intense.
No kidding. Helena murdered. A missing page from the journal. It's a lot to process.
It really is. And that missing page, it didn't just reveal another secret, it completely changed the game.
Oh, I bet. What did it say?
Well, it turns out Arthur wasn't just planning to expose the family's shady business dealings. He was planning to completely disinherit several family members.
Whoa, hold on. Disinherit them? That's harsh.
Yeah, and Helena was one of them. The page listed all the reasons why he considered them unworthy.
Unworthy. There's that word again. Seems like Arthur was really hung up on judging his family. But why go to such lengths? Why not just change the will?
Right. It seems so extreme. It's almost like he wanted to punish them, to make them suffer.
To expose them, maybe? Like a grand theatrical act of revenge from beyond the grave.
It's definitely a possibility. And it certainly explains why someone might want him dead. True, true. But we still don't know who the killer is. Was it Helena's husband? Maybe someone else who stood to lose from the will?
Or maybe someone who was trying to protect themselves from being exposed by Arthur's journal.
Ooh, good point. Anyone in that house could have a motive. So, with all this new information, are they any closer to finding the hidden vault?
Well, they found the red door, right, the one behind the painting in the library. But that just led them to the journal, not the fortune.
So what now? Is there another red door somewhere? Did they miss something?
Maybe. Remember that riddle on the key? Seek the red door where secrets dream? Maybe it has a double meaning. Maybe the real red door isn't a literal door, but a metaphorical one, like a hidden truth or revelation that will unlock the final pieces of the puzzle.
Interesting. I like that. A symbolic red door. So do they figure it out? Do they find this metaphorical door?
They do, but not in the way you might think. They end up back in the library, staring at that same painting of the red door, and then they realize something. The painting itself is a puzzle.
A puzzle. How so?
The painting depicts a scene from a book that Arthur loved, a book with a hidden compartment. And guess what? There's a matching book in the library with a matching compartment, and inside they find the key to the vault.
No way. So the red door was a clue to the book, not a literal door. That's clever.
Talk about hiding in plain sight, but here's the twist. The vault isn't filled with gold or jewels.
Wait, what? Then what's in it?
It's something far more valuable and far more dangerous. Arthur's final confession. He admits to everything, to orchestrating his own downfall, leaking the family secrets, and framing Mrs. Hughes for a murder she didn't commit.
Hold on. He framed Mrs. Hughes for a murder.
Yeah, it turns out Arthur knew about a crime Mrs. Hughes committed years ago, and he used that knowledge to manipulate her, to make her do his bidding.
Wow. This guy was seriously twisted. So he set this whole thing up, knowing he'd be killed just to expose his family and frame Mrs. Hughes.
It seems so. And just when you think it can't get any crazier, the unexpected guest, the one claiming to be Arthur's illegitimate child, well, they disappear.
Disappear? What do you mean disappear? Like vanish into thin air?
Not quite. But while everyone's distracted by Arthur's confession, they slip away unnoticed, and guess what they have with them?
The Crimson Key.
You got it. And suddenly, this seemingly insignificant character becomes the most important piece of the puzzle. Were they working with Mrs. Hughes all along?
Or were they playing their own game, using the chaos to their advantage?
We're left with more questions than answers, but one thing's for sure, The mystery of the Crimson Key is far from over.
Okay, so we've got Arthur's confession, Mrs. Hughes is in custody, and that mysterious guest is gone. What happens next?
Well, you would think that with all the cards on the table, things would start to settle down, right?
Right, case closed, mystery solved. But that's not how the Crimson Key rolls.
Not at all. Remember, this is a story full of twists and turns, and just when you think you've got it all figured out, bam, another layer is revealed. And that next layer comes in the form of Mrs. Hughes's parting words. As she's being led away by the police, she looks right at Victoria and says, "Do you really think I acted alone?"
Oh, chills. That line changes everything. Suddenly, we're not so sure about Mrs. Hughes. Was she a mastermind or just a pawn?
It's like the author's throwing us a curveball, making us question everything we thought we knew.
Exactly. And while everyone is reeling from this revelation, trying to process what it all means, something else happens.
What's that?
Victoria notices that the unexpected guest, the one claiming to be Arthur's child, well, they're gone, vanished. And they took something with them.
Not the Crimson Key.
The Crimson Key. It's gone. And this seemingly unimportant character, who's been lurking in the background this whole time, suddenly becomes the key to everything.
Wow. So was this guest working with Mrs. Hughes? Were they in on it together from the start?
Or were they playing their own game, manipulating everyone, including Mrs. Hughes?
It's a brilliant twist. The story ends with this lingering question, this sense of unease that the mystery is far from solved.
And that's what makes the Crimson Key so captivating. It's not just about finding the answers. It's about the journey, the constant unraveling of truth, the realization that sometimes the people closest to us are capable of things we never imagined.
It's like peering into a dark mirror, seeing the potential for deceit and darkness within ourselves and those around us.
Exactly. Arthur might be gone, but his legacy of secrets and manipulation lives on. The Crimson Key becomes a symbol of the mysteries we all carry within us, the hidden motives, the things we're willing to do to protect ourselves and those we love.
It's a reminder that even in the face of shocking revelations, there are always more layers to uncover, more questions to ask.
And that, my friend, is the beauty of a truly great mystery. It stays with you long after you finish the story, leaving you wondering, questioning, and maybe even looking over your shoulder.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this. What are the Crimson Keys in your own life? What secrets lie hidden beneath the surface? And what will you do when the truth is finally revealed? Until next time, keep those keys close and those secrets closer.